Oh, we on the podcast, baby.
Club Talk. Jay Brody. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. You're now listening to that Club Talk. And now, your host, Jay Brody. 1, 2, 1, 2, ha!
All right, welcome back to another episode of Cloth Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Brody. If you're noticing a little difference in my voice, I am under the weather, sick a little bit, but the podcast must go on. That doesn't stop me. Today, I'm really excited. I'm joined by, actually, history has been made today on the podcast. The youngest guest is here. Hi. Typically, if you follow my podcast and you listen, you'll notice that I talk to a lot of older people, but we switched it up this month. It's Black History Month, by the way. Go ahead and applaud yourself for those who are listening. Only if you're a black person, though, of course. Aleena Solomon has joined me on the podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm all right.
You're all right.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm very good. Other than my throat, thanks for asking. You're actually probably the second person who actually asked me how the host was doing. So I appreciate that. We're a week removed away from Diaspora. Yep. Which is y'all just told me was the 7th one, but for you, this is your second one that you've been a part of.
Yes.
Tell me about the whole event. Is this a student ran event? Because it seems like it when you're watching it.
So the event itself is not student ran. We actually have teachers who put it together.
Okay.
So a few of our black teachers, we have Mrs. Amerson, who is a school psychologist, Mrs. Manley, who teaches in the science department, and Dr. Thomas, who teaches she teaches African American Studies and African American Voice, which is like an English class for black people in the school. And it basically goes throughout, like, it talks about the history of like black literature and things like that.
Okay.
It's a really awesome class.
So was this an idea from the teachers or from the students?
So the idea itself did come from students.
Aha, okay. Because it seems like it.
Yeah, the idea came from students about 7 years ago when Dr. Thomas started teaching African American Voice. Mm-hmm. And students wanted to they wanted to show like other people in the school, because black people in Gahanna, Lincoln is a minority. And they just wanted to like make people more aware of the culture.
I see. So when developing, take me behind the scenes of like how long and how much it takes to prepare for the show, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of performances. There's a lot of reciting. And how long does this process take to put together? When did y'all start putting it together?
So we started auditioning in October.
So there's an audition process?
Yes. There's
okay.
an audition process. I had to go through like three or four auditions for the song, because the audition process is also kind of like a development process, an artist development process.
I see.
So if they are going to put you in the show, they want to develop you as much as possible, and they want to get a certain they want to project something, and they want to give your act meaning. They don't just want you to be singing just to sing. Like we did Aretha Franklin because Aretha,
right?
She just passed,
right?
In 2018, and
were you able to pick that song, or they chose it for you?
So we did pick the song. She gave me a list of artists. She helped. One of the teachers, Mrs. Amerson, she helped me come up with artists for the greats, because they wanted to do this tribute to the greats, which you saw, like with Aaliyah and Roberta Flack and all of that. Okay.
All the older people in the audience were going crazy when that. All young people like, what?
Huh? Yep.
Okay. So the teacher gave you all these lists of artists, and y'all just kind of pick and chose.
Yeah. Because for me, it was either Aretha Franklin or Celia Cruz. You know?
Yeah.
Because, I like celebrating, like, my Afro-Latino heritage as well.
Very good.
Which can be an option next year.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all, like, artist development and trying to, like, weed out the best, not weed out, but, like, search for the best talents in this large range and variety of students.
I see. When the audition process, when some of the students didn't make it, how did that affect some of the kids? Because I can imagine this is a big program that's been put on. You know, everybody's not going to make the cut, unfortunately. Did you see a couple of kids' hearts get broken?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Did you try to comfort them?
No.
No?
I'm like, if you're not good, like, I don't know.
Is there more
very
good
blunt
than bad?
when it comes to, I'd say
About even?
yeah, but like sometimes it's just like we're looking for variety and we're looking for the best.
I see.
Which is where like my empathy stops, because it's like I know what it feels like to be rejected from doing something that you want to do.
Yeah.
But like if you're not good enough, then you shouldn't be complaining. You should be if you really wanted to do it, you should be working harder. Because there's always next year, unless you're like a senior.
Yeah. At any point when you were on stage, did you get nervous or feel like you will forget your line or forget anything you wrote? Because I'll tell you my favorite part, as far as like what you were doing, the other two girls y'all did, the Divided States of America, that was probably one of my favorites. And it taught me how do y'all remember all that? Did y'all actually have the paper that y'all had on the desk? Was that y'all actual lines, or was it just
we did have our poems written down in the binders.
Okay.
Because we were trying to make it seem, because it was kind of a skit at the same time as it was spoken word. We were trying to make it have like a classroom feel to it.
Right.
And, like we were presenting these things.
Yeah.
And originally like there was going to be a flag and we were going to have like a board up and things like that.
Yeah. It seems like the teachers and directors gave y'all a lot of freedom to be creative and like really express yourself. Because I heard a couple cuss words.
There were a few cuss words, yeah.
I was like, this what?
Yeah.
So that they allowed y'all to really express yourselves and put it all out there.
For the most part, yes.
That's amazing.
But like they wouldn't let us have like the flag up because they were like, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
They disrespected us, but okay.
Yeah. Other than your performance, who are some of your favorites?
So my favorite would have to be the last act, the very last act, which was a senior, Nate Asamoah. He did this evolution of music through percussion.
Yes.
And he's an incredible musician.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of working with him, but he's an incredible musician, and seeing like first off like the passion that he has for his craft, and for seeing like the passion that he has for telling our story kind of really stood it shone. Yeah.
I'm curious to get your thoughts. You being biracial, because when I'm watching this, there was a lot of diversity on the stage, and I'm curious for you, outside of that performance, day to day, being a biracial young person, how does that like affected you? How do you deal with that every day? Is it challenging? Is it hard? Do people not know what you are when they see you? Like, so are you black or are you mixed? Like, what are you?
Yeah,
like,
people. I get that all the time.
They can't figure out what you are.
Yeah, because it's like racially, I think I'll always like identify as black, like racially, because like that's what people see. That's like, they see the hair, see my skin, they're like, oh, those are kind of black features. I'm not 100% sure, but like,
well, she's black. We'll just give her black.
She's black.
Yeah.
And so like racially, I'll always identify, but like when people are like, what are you? I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican and black.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not necessarily a struggle, like dealing with it day to day.
Is it frustrating?
Just, sometimes, because it's like for me at least, I've always like struggled with like, where do I belong in like a group of people? Like, do I hang out with like the black people? Do I hang out with? It's like,
yeah.
you just kind of hang there, because like, especially, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but like being an artist, a lot of people are like, oh, that's like the weird person. I'm like,
yeah,
I am.
You embrace that
So-
about yourself, being weird and different.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
To an extent.
But yeah, it's more of a how do I embrace these two parts of me, and how do I show them, and how do I give them both equally both equal credit, like, because
I imagine that could be challenging.
It is
like,
very
how do you
challenging.
do that?
It is, because I'll like stay up sometimes at night and I'm like, daggone, what do I really know about Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, because I don't ever want to feel like I'm neglecting a part of me. It's just what we learn or what we have access to it's not as leveled.
Yeah.
They're not teaching you about Puerto Rico in American history, even though Puerto Rico is very much a part of the U.S.
Yeah.
They're not teaching that. So it's like there's more access in like libraries, more access in schools to learning about Black history. You never see people talking about like Hispanic American literature or art or just studies in general.
Right. With
yeah.
being biracial also, in school, do the other students, do they kind of be standoffish or treat you a certain way?
Oh, yeah.
Or like, so why don't you speak Spanish if you're, Spanish? Like, why don't you talk like this
Oh, yeah.
or that? Kind of put you in the box.
They're like, but are you really?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm like,
It's always that asterisk, that question.
yeah. It's like, I'm definitely sure.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get it from both sides, honestly, because it's like, people will be like, but are you really Black like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Because you're not talking ghetto doesn't mean you're not Black.
It's like, people, I do get that. They're like, you talk too white.
Talk too white.
Until you start singing, then they're like, oh, she's a sister now. Like, it's like, wait, pause. What just happened?
Yeah.
You can't just claim me when it's beneficial to you. You feel?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's honestly something that I've learned to just, I don't know, just be myself, like embrace those two parts of myself, but also accept that a lot of people may never.
Yeah. Do you think racism will ever end in this world?
No.
Never. We don't see it coming to an end. Why not?
There are places in the world, and there have been places in the world, such as like during like World War II-ish, and like even like World War I, like in Germany, people were so against like racial mixing, and people in Japan are still like against racial mixing. In Japan, they have like their, I guess, quote unquote, like the most pure like nation.
Yeah.
Like they don't mix with anybody.
Yeah.
And when you have people like that who think that it is not okay to like expose yourself to diversity, because it's not just like, oh, I want to have children with someone who isn't like me. It's like not even that. It's like, if you're not exposing yourself to diversity, you are shutting yourself off. And when you shut yourself off, you become closed-minded. And when you're closed-minded, how are you supposed to love? You know?
Yeah. Let's jump ahead like to the future. Like, if you had kids that are, let's say, mixed, what type of parent do you think you would be?
Well, I mean, my kids are going to be mixed because I'm mixed.
That's true.
So
by default.
Like, yeah, by default. They're like, oh, already there.
Yeah, what type of things would you want to instill in them?
It's a wonderful question.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I know that I'd want them to be proud of all parts of their culture, because I don't know, when it's like one person, when all of these things are inside of you, it does tend to become like one culture. And yeah, I'd support my child and like try to help them learn as much as I can teach them about at least my part of like their racial mixture.
Yeah.
Well, not racial, but ethnic mixture.
Yeah.
And try to like have them embrace all of that they can.
All right. We're going to take a quick break right here on Cloth Talk Podcast. Aleena Solomon's family show. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
I'm your biggest fan, but I guess rushing in. You stuck me in the friend zone. That's that bullshit. I'm gonna play the diablo either way. You can come or you could go, because I'd rather play Mortal Kombat anyway. Hey, I'm all about my Johnny Cage. If you're not bringing tacos, I suggest you start to walk away. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. I can tell you kinda gotten comfortable, so let me break it down for you. Don't call me, don't text me after 2 a.m. unless you plan on giving me some,
Because I got enough friends.
I would throw you in the garbage, cause you play too many games. I'm better off by myself, loving you straight for my health. No one wants to be in the friend zone. Friend zone. Friend
All right, we're back. Cloth Talk Podcast. Aleena Solomon is here. She hasn't went nowhere. Behind the scenes, I just got a hilarious story about her. She split her lip open. We may add that in. I don't know. Generation Z, which you're a part of. How do you feel about being part of Generation Z? Are you excited? Do you like your generation that you're a part of? Because when knowing you act older than you are. You carry yourself. Well, I'm not around you 24/7, so I don't know. But as far as I know, when I come across you, you always carry yourself in a right way, respectful way, mature. Generation Z, how do we feel about this generation? Be honest. Don't care about who you offend.
Oh, I
all your friends are watching and listening.
So 0. So I have mixed feelings about Generation Z.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like, I don't know. So to a lot of people, we're like the continuum. We're kind of like the continuum of like millennials.
Yes.
And I see that to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, there's so many similarities between like my generation and yours.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's really like no generational gap. It's just a matter of my generation may be a tad more radical. So
that's a good word, radical. Okay,
yeah.
break it down. In what sense?
So you see a lot of people, a lot of millennials, they state their opinions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do all of this, and they there's just not a lot of work put toward it. I feel that. And at the same time, millennials, they're kind of more reserved than we are.
Okay.
And reserved to the extent that a lot of these Gen Zers are like crazy. Like it's like you're like either like radically liberal or like radically conservative, and it's like it is like people feel that they have to like pick a side in everything, and that once they pick a side, like they have to like be ride or die for it. And it's like, that's insane.
You don't agree with that?
It's like, why can't you just pick and choose from, because no one is 100% anything, you know?
This is true. Yeah.
Like you can't just be all for something. There has to be something that you disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that a lot of us are blind.
Talk about Generation Z?
Yeah. Kind of blind. I mean, everybody is, but I feel that it's more evident in people who are my age and younger.
Why do you think that is? Is it lack of leadership or not knowing where to go to for guidance and knowledge? You know, like the blind leading the blind, what you're talking about. Where does that come from? Not wanting to get the information?
I feel that may be the case. A lot of us, and this isn't even just like a generational thing, it's like a people thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've realized that a lot of people are not going to seek out for information. They're not going to seek out to like want to be like an ally for anything. They're not going to seek out to like all of this information that they need to combat like different evils in the world. Ayana, my sister, makes fun of me for like not using like plastic like straws and things like that, like
Is that
toppers
right?
for but it's like I do research and I'm like, this is hurting the earth. Why am I going to use it if it does? And I feel that it's kind of that. If we don't research what we are for or against, and if we don't research what's going on around us, like it doesn't just like boil down to like politics or what are your religious beliefs or things like that. It boils down to look at your demographic. What's going on around you, and how are the people around you? Why are they like that? What can you do to help your fellow man? Why are we so self-centered and like, it's like, I get it, we want to belong.
It's all about me.
Yeah, it's like that, and it's trying to find like I don't know, some reassurance in thinking the way you do, or trying to find community in thinking the way you do. And I get that and I support that. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine or whatever. But at the same time, you really have to look out. In orchestra, we learn to like look at the entire orchestra as opposed to just yourself or your own section.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep that mentality with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
Like you have to think about the full picture. You have to think about the entire piece. You can't just think about your part.
Yeah. Tell me if you agree with this. I hear a lot of older people, adults, say, speaking for like when they talk down to the younger generation, the kids don't listen, they don't want to learn, or they're disrespectful. I've heard that this generation, the generation you're part of, Generation Z, a lot of people say this is the most disrespectful generation they've ever seen. You agree with this?
No.
Disagree. You don't agree.
We're bold.
Yeah.
We're definitely bold.
Could that come off as disrespect? Is what they're kind of confusing that with? The boldness to speak up and be heard and not be afraid to show your voice and believe what you stand in.
Yeah. I feel like that is what we are perceiving as disrespectful nowadays. I don't know why, because we all do have our own opinions. We all have our own beliefs. And it's kind of like, if you are a psych major.
Yes.
So like if you think of like the types of parenting, and you have like authoritarian, authoritative, and permissive. It's like we are kind of, most of us at least, a good chunk of us have been able to experience kind of that authoritative type of parenting. So yes, we were like, there were rules, they were enforced, but a lot of us, there was logic behind the rules. And if we didn't feel that those rules were fit, we would debate them. Like we're like, well, why am I doing this when these are the benefits, you know? And well, at least I could speak on behalf of teenagers. Right. Not really like
you can speak for your demographic.
Yeah. Because I'm not, but we've kind of been able to grow up in a less reserved type of household. A lot of us, like me, it's kind of like half and half. I've experienced both sides. Like it was like probably like perfectly down the middle, like authoritarian and permissive. So like it was it was authoritative. Very authoritative. And
strict household.
Not strict, because like authoritarian's like super strict. And like authoritarian,
laying down the law.
Like, it's like and like I've experienced that. I'm like it's like I get that. It's like, why am I doing this? Because I said so. And it's like that can be respected, but at the same time, I want to know why. I want to know the why to everything. And I feel that a lot of adults think that asking why is very disrespectful.
Right. That leads me to my next question. I was going to ask you about that. Why do you think some adults don't listen to children or their kids per se? You know, a lot of kids like, no, dad, my parents don't listen,
Never
or
listen.
they never listen, or they don't let me do this or that. Why do you think, you know, most parents or adults, you know, who have kids, they don't always give their children the luxury of having an input or saying anything? Do you think that's harmful?
To restrict your children from
Having a
freedom.
voice per
Yes.
se. Yeah.
Oh, that's very.
It's my house. I said what I said. Go to bed.
No.
Put the phone down. Turn it off. Turn the TV off. I said what I said. No internet. Done.
It's like that's
How do you do? Does that?
context.
Yes. In context, right?
Yeah. It can be harmful. It can be very harmful.
How come?
Because first off, when you don't give children a voice, as you've seen in like the cases of many of like these school shootings, they act out. Like if you're not going to allow them the voice that they crave, they're going to seek their voice in other ways, and those ways can be detrimental to the world around them. When you take away that voice per se, what you're doing is you're restricting like the outward representation of their inner thoughts. And as a parent, you'd probably want to know what your child is thinking, you know? And it may not be exactly what you think, but at the same time, that is your child, so you do want them to be like a good person in the world. Right. You want them to like know that it is okay to speak their mind, it is okay to do all of this stuff. When you don't let children speak their minds, you have like these crazy like alt-right people and like radical like I'm gonna like shoot you if you don't believe in what I believe in type people, and it's like, whoa, that needs to stop. Like if we just talk, I feel like talking is such a weapon. It's a very dangerous weapon and a powerful tool. So I feel like communication is key to everything. You can't just have a one-sided conversation. One-sided conversations are boring as heck. Like even like when you're talking to yourself, that's two things going on. Like you can't, it's like talking to a wall. Like you don't want to do that.
And when you say that, it made me think about like how I was brought up. Like me and my sister growing up in Philly, like it was just mainly my mom raising us in the projects, and it was always her word was law. I know what I'm talking about. You kids don't know nothing. Y'all ain't lived life. Y'all not old enough to even have an opinion. Sit your butt down.
See, and we got a lot of that when
I was like, but I want to tell mom, but
yeah,
I said what I said, boy. Quiet.
Period.
All right,
I feel that.
Done. It's over. I have no say so at all. I can't even like, and it made me feel like I didn't like my voice. If I did say something, it wouldn't matter anyway because you already shut me off. Like, I can't even. Yeah, I'm 12, but I still have a thought at least.
Right. and the thoughts of children, the maturation or trying to like help these thoughts grow as a parent, that's incredibly important. And I feel like both of my parents have tried to do so. And I'm very thankful for that.
That's good.
Because it's like, I've experienced like what you were talking about, like that. My word is law. Type of attitude.
Yes. Spankings you get beatings? You got
whippings?
beatings?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Share me your story, your worst one. And who was on the hand given? Was it the mom or the dad?
Mom.
Share us a story, please. With our beautiful listeners.
Oh yes, beautiful listeners. I love you.
What did you do to receive this beating?
What did I do?
Yes.
What's the worst one?
There's plenty of these. Are you a misbehaved child?
It wasn't that
you were
we
younger.
were misbehaved. Like this is what. See, there were times where we'd do certain things, like I don't know, carve pumpkins that we weren't supposed to be carving.
I see.
Put like we were specifically told, do not carve these pumpkins. We are going to paint them.
Yes, and you carved it.
And we were like, oh, but I wanna eat the seeds. I wanna carve this pumpkin. Let me clean it. You feel?
Yeah.
And so I was my sister and I, I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one guilty.
Oh no. There were two culprits.
Oh, out with your sister?
Yes, right under the bus. I love
man.
But we decided it'd be a great idea to carve these pumpkins without anybody knowing. We got our little scissors, the ones with like the rounded tip.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to like cut the pumpkin open.
Yes.
And it just smelled like pumpkin all over the room. I like spilled pumpkin on like the carpet. It was crazy. I'm like, well, we need to put these seeds in a bowl and put it under the bed. So that's what we did.
Okay. Seeds under the bed. That was the plan.
Under the bed. Seeds and like the guts of the pumpkin under the bed. My mom comes in. She's like, what are you doing? Nothing. Put the top of the pumpkin back on the pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. We didn't do anything. She's like, why does it smell like pumpkin in here?
She already knew what happened.
Whooped.
Oh.
Well, that was my worst whooping. See, I'm a good kid. Am both? Yes.
Was and still a good kid.
Yeah, I was good. So that was the worst for me.
Yes.
That was painful.
For me, let me know if you share the same experience. Like when I get like, at the time when I was younger, getting a whooping, it humbled me.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how your mom beat you, but my whoopings, I was a different person.
I was a different person.
Good morning. Wake up the next day. Good morning. Anyone want breakfast? Would you like some orange juice? Nice to everybody. I would get those type of whoopings. Like, it'd change your life type whoopings. Yeah, my mom didn't play. Yeah.
No, I got the...
Everyone's laughing around in the studio. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this. If you're just listening on iTunes, you can't see. But if you want to watch on YouTube, if you're listening on iTunes, go ahead, head over to YouTube, type in Cloth Talk Podcast. So we got that out the way. But yes, I was humbled.
Yeah. I could kind of relate, but like I feel that a lot of it just... Sorry, Mom.
Uh-oh.
I think that a lot of it like invoked fear.
Fear?
Yeah.
Like you was fearful of your parents?
I was scared.
Really?
Yeah. Anytime whooping came up, I was like, nope. Back with 10-7, I'm like, nah. I'm a good kid. Yeah. Look, I did all my homework, straight A's, perfect. Yeah. I'm not playing. I'm not doing anything. I don't play these games. No.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
Like, it terrified me.
Now, like, today, though, yeah, they are painful. But today now is weird. Speaking about generations, what we're talking about. Now today, if you lay a finger on your kid, they could call child services, call the cops. Oh, it's child abuse. What do we think that line of using, I won't say violence, but I'll try to put it a different, word it differently to where it's not harsh.
Physical discipline.
Yes, physical discipline. That's a good way to put it. To discipline your child could there be a different way to discipline your child other than just using, beatings or spankings? Yeah. Do you think there could be other ways? Because some people are like, no, that's the only way they're gonna learn. You gotta beat them. You gotta beat them. You gotta hit them.
Depends on the kid.
Depends on the kid. So, do you think the beatings you receive were justified?
Were they justified?
Yeah. Like, I ain't get deserved for that. Hey, man, all I did was carve the pumpkin.
It's like.
Could have been a different way, like, all right, just sit me down, talk to me, I'll learn from that, or you gotta get your butt whooped.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it wasn't justified, but at the same time, I'm not going to say that they were at the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, all of us in my family, we have matured, and like my mom and I, we've learned to like communicate.
There we go.
Yes, communicate like more openly. Very much more openly, and not necessarily like resort to like, oh, punishment now type of thing. Like, we talk things out for the most part, and I'm like a good kid, so I don't really get in trouble, so it's mostly like emotions, Mom. But I feel that talking and explaining what you did wrong before
just go ahead and lay down the hammer.
Any type of intervention, like physical intervention, discipline sort of situation happens could be very beneficial. And it's like sometimes for me, like getting whooped like that invoked a lot of fear in me, and I was like scared for like a hot second.
So the beatings worked.
Wild. No, it's not even, because, like, yeah, I was scared to do it again, but I was scared because of the consequence that I would get.
Right.
And it was like, it wasn't even I'm scared of the whooping, it's like, I'm scared to let you down type thing. Because, I don't know, I've always been, like, very in my head as a kid, and, like, seeing my parents disappointed in me, or, like, the thought of doing something to disappoint them has always, like, brought tears to my eyes. I don't like that thought of letting the people that I love down. So it's like, it just depends on the kid.
Yeah. Some kids deserve it, some kids don't. Yeah. Let's switch gears real quick. I want to talk about popularity in school. Would you consider yourself a popular kid?
People know me.
More
It's
than
like,
people should know you? People that walk through the hall and they say hi, you walk through the hall and they say hi, like, I don't even know you.
Like, yes.
Like, how do you even know me?
Hi, Aleena. How do you know my name? No.
Yeah.
It's like, it depends. Like, what are we constituting as popularity?
I don't know what helped me out. Well, because I'm far removed from school now. And I went to all boy high school, so yeah, it was just me and a bunch of dudes playing football. So everybody was popular.
Everybody was popular.
Yeah. You know, we played football. After that, we would go down to the all girl high school and get the girls. That's how we did it. Every day. That was my high school experience. It was like 2 blocks away from each other.
I mean, why not?
Yes. Great times for me. But popularity. I guess, how would we define popularity? I guess the people that know you, people rallying behind you, stuff like that. You being, I guess, the topic of discussion in everything within the school. Would you fall in that mix? Top 5 popular Aleena Solomon?
Top 5?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Top 10?
Top 10? I don't know. It's like people know me because I sing.
Because of your talents.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's the only reason why people know me. It's like that, and things like Diaspora and like other things going on in our school. It's like people know me, definitely, but at the same time, it's like I don't know them, so I don't know how many of them know me. It's like scary.
Do you care to know?
No.
You don't want to know?
I don't want to know.
Really?
I really don't, because it's more people than I would like.
Really?
Yes.
You don't like being known?
Like, not.
There she is. There's Aleena right there. That's her. That's what
creepy.
it sings.
That is creepy.
Point you out. See you at the local Walmart or Kroger. I know her. She goes to my school. Who are you?
My school. It's like,
you don't like that?
I don't. It's like, I enjoy it when people are, I don't know, when they're like, oh, you did good, whatever, for my talent. And like, even that sometimes it's like, it's awkward.
Really?
When it's people who aren't artists that are like, oh my gosh, you're so good. If it's like people who aren't artists who I do not know and I don't love, I love everybody who I'm not connected to.
Got you.
It kind of weirds me out sometimes, because it's like, did you get anything from this? Then you have like the people, I've gotten letters from people. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Letters.
People have given me letters like, you have made me cry.
Wow.
Thank you. You're going to go far. I'm like, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
It depends.
Does it bug you out that you have this effect on people and not even know them? Is that what it is?
See, sometimes it's like I'm thankful that I do, but at the same time, it's like that means like people are talking behind your back. She probably like does things with everybody everywhere, like that type of thing.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
Like talking behind your back all the time.
Yeah.
Or like talking about like the people around you all the time. I'm like for me it's fine because I'm like not really around very many people, but like the people who I am around I do care about, and I don't want anybody, like, literally keep their names out of your mouth. Like, what we're not finna do is start a fight, but we will if I have to, type of thing.
Yeah.
But like I'm a lover, not a fighter.
All right. You haven't gotten into a fight in high school, have you?
No.
0 fights, yes?
0 fight. I've never gotten into a fight in my life.
Never had a fight?
Mm-mm.
Really? Not
I'm
even
a good kid.
0 fights?
0.
Wow. Would you like to get into a fight one day? Just to test out your chops, see what you're made of.
And further damage my face. No.
We already experienced this with the fall.
No.
No fights for you, hopefully.
No fights.
Okay, good. Hopefully no one approaches you that way. You have to defend yourself.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Because, like, also it's like, why would you hurt another person? Oof. It's, like, scary. Because I don't even know if I'd, like, be able to fight back if it was me. If it was anybody else who I cared about, I'd be throwing hands. But if it was me, it's like...
Let's say you're walking down the street, you see your sister getting jumped by 2 girls.
Oh, then I'm jumping them. Like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
That'll be the first time you fight. Help your sister.
Fight number 1.
Yeah. I want to ask you about... damn, I think we all hit them all. No, we didn't. Bridging the gap. That's what we got to talk about. You being a young adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the older generation, including me, well, not that older, but you can include me, just my generation, and other generations. What are some ways that we think we could help generate that gap between the young folks and the older people? Because there's a lot of disconnect there, especially in today's world. A lot of adults don't understand the youth, and a lot of youth don't understand the adults' old ways of thinking. Is there a way we can kind of bring it together to where we don't agree on everything, but we at least can understand each other and respect each other?
Yeah. So there was this one thing that J. Cole did with, like, Lil Pump.
I've seen that. He sat down with him and they had an interview. I did see that, yeah.
See, things like that.
Just having dialogue, discussion.
I'm telling you, talking is such a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful tools. Like, we've been given language for a reason. And all of these words in our vocabulary, they're there for a purpose. Words aren't futile. Like, every single thing that you put out into the universe, like, it matters.
Yeah.
And so I feel that if people would actually listen on both ends, because there are, like, people in my generation who are incredibly headstrong. I'm telling you, these people are radical, like, insane, that could benefit by just listening to, like, people of older generations, and even those in different situations within their generation. Just like there are people, like, in your generation or older generations who could benefit from listening to younger people and their perspective of life. Because my dad told me something. He said, like, everybody goes through the same thing, it's just a different variation, you know? And I'm like, whoa, you're right. So I kind of think about that a lot, because it's like, we're not that different.
Oh.
We are not that different. The way that things affect can be, like, a bit different, but we mostly have similarities with each other. Especially if you're talking about, like, from generation to generation to generation. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like the same pattern every generation.
Yep.
So I'd say, communication is very, very important.
Yeah. If you could choose to be part of any generation, past or present, what generation would you pick to live in?
That's difficult. Because it's like, ooh, if I was alive in my grandma's time, I'd probably be like a Black Panther.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So you talking about 50s, 60s? You want to be
if I were
generation?
If I were my age,
if
I were 16 years old, and like 65,
1965.
like, I would love to be a part of a movement like that.
Cool. That's pretty cool. We'll take one more break. Aleena Solomon is here. My throat feeling better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we feel it good.
Is that tea?
Yeah, it's a tea. It's working. We'll come right back, talk about a few more things. We're going to wrap it up. Don't go nowhere. Cloth Talk Podcast. Okay, we are back with Cloth Talk Podcast. A lot has been going on behind the scenes, which y'all will not even see. It's been some great stuff. All right, we're going to hit a few more topics, then we're going to wrap it up with my guest today, Aleena Solomon. So you're getting older. You're about to transition out of high school very soon. So what, you are junior?
I am a junior.
Junior. So you got what, 1 year, 2 years?
A year left.
One year left, and then off you go. So talk to us about what's the plan? What's next for Aleena Solomon after graduation? What's going on?
The plan?
Yes, what's the plan?
Well, I want to go to Berklee College of Music, which is like the leading contemporary music school in the U.S., in the world.
Yeah.
So I'd really love to go there to like further my education in music.
Okay.
Probably major in vocal performance, or do like a dual major because I have a dual major program. So I'll probably end up doing like bass performance and vocal performance.
Yeah.
Or like songwriting and vocal performance.
Yeah.
Something. But one of the majors is definitely going to be vocal.
Yeah.
And just trying to network there, work on my craft, perfect my craft. Well, not perfect it because there's no such thing as perfect. But yes, further my craft and work on that to the point where I'm like, oh, now I know for a fact that I could really, 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 really get whatever like a regular job that I want, like when it comes to music. Like if I wanted to be like a professor in theory, because like if I can't like do what I want to do like as soon as possible, I'm probably going to end up like doing something in the music field. Not probably, I'm most definitely going to end up doing something in the music field. But I do want to like perform. So, and like that doesn't usually just take off like that. Right. But that's why you have to like start working now. Yeah. So like now I'm like in the process of like trying to record stuff so I could send it off to like labels. Like, hey, you want to use a song to like, I don't know, pay me.
Baby, so I can live.
I'll write for you. Yeah. You give me money. You feel like that type of situation. Yeah. Or I perform for you. Yeah. You pay me to do what I love to do.
Right. So the music career, that's what you're chasing. That's the path. Yes. Music is there. Now everybody says you gotta have a backup plan. What's the backup plan? If music doesn't work, what's the backup plan?
There's so many fields in music.
It is. You can take it so many different ways. So music, whatever it is, it's going to be something involved with music.
Yeah, it's either that or like, I don't have a doubt in my mind that that's not going to happen. Yeah. Well, I don't have a doubt that it's going to happen. Yes. Let me rephrase my sentence. But at the same time, I was interested in like minoring in psychology because I also
yes. Of course, I would say do it, but
of
like
course.
Your mom said, do what's in your heart.
Of course.
Yes.
And like that's like, I don't know. It's so weird because with other people it's flipped, and it's like psychology is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and music's a hobby. No, for me it's like the complete opposite. It's like psych's a hobby. Yeah. Like that's my hobby.
Yeah. Let's talk about, because when you graduate high school, you're going to be on your own now. You'll be an adult. Off you go. We were talking a little bit behind the scenes about how your parents are preparing you and gearing you up for that and how it's going to affect you, but them as well. Do you think are you ready to be an adult, pretty much? Do you think you can handle the adult world, all the responsibilities that come with it? You ready?
I'd say so, but at the same time, if I was ready, it would happen. And like that's, I don't know, such a precious thing about time. It's like everything, and about just like how the world works. Everything happens for a reason, and you're at this stage in your life for a reason. Yep. So yes, as much as I'd love to say like yes, I'm 100% ready, it's probably more like 98% because 98%. Like I'm not of age yet. Yeah. So there's obviously like, I don't know, 400 something more days for me to learn like what I need to learn to be a functioning adult in society.
Yeah. Are you nervous or scared at all, or are you kind of looking forward to it?
I am excited.
You excited to be on your own, move out the house?
Yeah.
It's me out in the world, me versus the world. You ready? You're going to be ready.
Yeah.
You're going to be prepared. Is there any other things that you need to maybe focus on or practice on to prepare yourself to be out in that world? What are some things that you got to get down? Like, okay, I got to get this stuff down to make sure I'm ready.
As soon as you say that, I'm like, awareness. But, like, I don't know. Awareness.
Being aware.
It's like, it's not even that I'm not aware. It's just, I want to be able to understand people more before.
In what sense? Like, know how people act or behave?
Know why people act the way that they do.
You said people are stupid.
Yeah, people are.
Let's get into it. What do you mean? Like, are all people stupid, or people just do stupid things, or what do you mean?
All of the above?
All of the above. They're just stupid.
Like, people are, like, myself included.
You call yourself stupid?
Not like stupid, but like I've made some not great decisions, or some like, why would I do that type of decision?
Well, it's part of being human. You
exactly.
You have hiccups here and there. Yeah.
Stupid decisions.
Yes.
And it's like, I guess when I say stupid, I'm saying stupid kind of equates to ignorance, and there's a lot of ignorance in the world, and we have like people like I don't want to say building walls because that sounds like I'm like, you know, but but like putting up, you know, whatever, putting like walls up of like ignorance, like, and blocking themselves from seeing other people's points of view. And I feel like it's essential as part of the human species to like understand what other people go through. Yeah. And why do people think the way they do? You can't just be like, oh, what you think is wrong and that's it, like point blank period. Like that's not how it is.
Yeah, should be open minded.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of us are stupid not to do that.
Yes.
So if you could change one thing about humanity, you would want people to not be stupid. To say the least, open yourselves up. Yes, I feel like we could all benefit from being more open-minded. Yes. Like there's no, I don't want to say there's no such thing as being too open-minded, but at the same time there isn't. Like you could, I don't know, you could learn a lot from not analyzing people. Well, yeah, kind of analyzing people. Yeah. You know, like they say that Walt Whitman was able to just do wonders, like as a poet. Yeah. They say that he was able to get through to all people. Like it didn't matter who you were, like, or what your experience was. Like he was like the poet. That's what, because I think it was Emerson. I think Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of them, or Thoreau. I think it was Emerson. But he said, but it's basically saying that like once Emerson started to read a lot of Walt Whitman's poems, he was like, well, that's the poet that can speak to everybody. And that's because this was a man who like had to self-educate himself because he dropped out of school at 11 years old to help his family. He was like a poor guy from a poor family. Bohemian Rhapsody. But he had to teach himself, and by doing so, and in order to teach himself, he started to analyze other people and like other people's mannerisms. Why are people acting this way to this group of people? And I feel that we could all benefit from doing the same. Yeah. One of my most, I guess, notable episodes I had was with Jake, the white fella. Yeah. Which I got a lot of backlash for having him on. Do you think? Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that episode, but a lot of people, they liked it and hated it for different reasons, if that makes sense. Do you think Jake is stupid? Listening to his views and the things he was saying, is he a stupid individual? Let me think. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. You are? Yeah. I don't want to bash someone. Because I know you watched it and listened to the episode. And I enjoyed it. Okay. Because like when you told me that you were going to do it, I was like, you were furious. I was. Yeah, you were angry.
was like, I want to be there when you do it. Like,
yeah, but unfortunately, they didn't allow you to come.
yeah, my dad was like, no.
It's probably a good thing he wasn't here.
But like, he's all right.
He's all right.
Until he started talking about like LGBTQ plus type of stuff. I'm like, now you're in the wrong. Now you're in the wrong.
Yes.
Not your territory, my guy. Get out.
Yeah.
But
let's
but,
get into it. That's
now like get in.
perfect transition. See how I set you up.
I see.
Let's talk about the LGBT community and
All
everything that comes along with it, because this is something that you experienced firsthand, and which you're proud to. This is something you don't hide about yourself.
Oh no.
I don't know how to begin this topic or open it up. Why do you think that community, which I understand why this community, they're just people.
Yeah.
It creates a divide,
It
but
does create a divide.
for the sake
And
of
at
the
the same time,
conversation, we
yeah.
have to establish that so stupid people can understand and follow the discussion. Why there's a lot of attack with that, as far as the movements, and there's a lot of people that when they see these movements come up, they kind of like, well, why y'all want to be known as this, or why are y'all doing this or this? Why y'all want to have these movements?
Why do you want to be a person?
Yeah. I don't get it. How does that make you feel, being, that you experience these things firsthand?
It pisses me off.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because it's like, I don't know. So I came out to my parents like after the court case ruling that like refusing like LGBT, well, that more like the L and the G part of like that group of people, like can get like it's unconstitutional to say like they can't get married.
Oh, marriage thing, yeah.
And I was like, yo, Mom, I'm gay.
No.
And,
that did it right there. Were you scared at first? Because I imagine like
my dad kind of like was like, because he was like, you're not telling us something, blah blah blah. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you like girls, don't you? I was like, yeah.
When you told them and they came out, which most parents, they probably already know, like parents they know, like when they look at their child, like, yeah, I know.
Flaming homosexual.
Yeah. Do you felt like when you first told them that they would be disappointed in you, or like let down, or
easily?
Yeah. Wow. I just wonder, like, why would you feel like they would like just be disappointed, like, my daughter likes women?
Oh no. I mean, is my dad gonna see this?
It's going to be everywhere, so it's public. So maybe anybody can find a show. They just type it in. It's like, there's Leah Solomon. Press play.
Press play.
I'm pretty sure he'll watch this.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well.
Speak freely.
Speak freely.
You're going to be on your own in 2 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
You'll be out of harm's way.
But it's like, I don't know. The backgrounds, like, religious-wise, of both of my parents, like, my mom is Catholic, and my dad was raised, like, as a Jehovah's Witness. And so, like, both of those groups of people or religions have often voiced their, I guess, unacceptance toward people like me. Yeah. So that kind of scared me. I'm like, I don't want to let you down. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I was like, I like guys too. What a lie. Yeah. But,
make them happy, like
yeah,
both.
But both.
Yeah.
But like my mom was like, I don't know. She's the type of person who reads the Bible and sees love. And goes to church and sees love. And that love transcends religion, I think, because religion's like is such a man-made thing. Like,
this is God's word.
Like, nah, it's like I don't even know how to go about it. It's just religion is so man-made when you think about it. Like, in retrospect, like, all of these like denominations of Christianity that we have, they were not created by God. Like if that was the case, like we wouldn't be hating each other like this. We wouldn't be like, oh, so God hates fags type like whoa type stuff. So it's like, yeah, I felt that my parents would be disappointed, but it turns out that it was like that worry was very futile. I think. To an extent, no, it was futile.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So like, let's say like when you go out and move off, you know, on your own to school, you're in a relationship with your partner who we will protect her right now. We're not going to name her.
Defend her. Because
we spoke about her for like 10 minutes off camera. We're going to protect her because I understand she's a very, she's, you know, low key. I guess would be a word to put it. Right? Yeah. I guess low key. You know her better than we do, so. Yeah. So when you go off to, what's the plan? So is she gonna come with you, or how do y'all in the relationship just do the long distance thing? How is that gonna work out?
Suck if we just like we're like, cut it.
Yeah, like, all right, well, you're going off to, you know, school and I'll stay here in Ohio. How have y'all even discussed that?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So she's going with you, or how's it gonna work? You'll come back and visit. She'll come out there.
Both ways, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, there's not really such thing as like an avoidance of that kind of like long distance relationship. Yeah. Or at least for us, like.
Yeah. Because that happened to me when I went to college. I had to leave, and then I found out she was cheating on me. It was bad. Hopefully this doesn't happen to you.
It won't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was. And the funny thing is, your aunt found out my girlfriend was cheating on me. That's how we
and that's met. How you guys got together? Well,
it's funny that way, yeah.
It's funny that way.
Yeah, she found out.
Funny.
Yeah, my dumb behind was just so gullible. My girlfriend is being. Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good.
No, but it's yeah.
Yeah. Are you brought the energy down? Like, Jesus Christ.
That sucks.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
But I mean, you got the better person.
This is true.
Period.
True. Yes. Okay. I came out on top at the end. So what's her plans? Like, what is she into? Is she also in the music field? And what does she
wants
do?
to be a biomedical engineer.
Biomedical engineer.
So
check her out. So she's gonna be going to school somewhere else too.
Yeah, she wants to go to school in Cleveland. Yeah.
Cleveland, okay.
Yeah, Case Western.
Yeah.
So like close to where we used to live. And I want to go to school in Boston.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, not gonna be close at all.
Nope, like a good 10-hour drive. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to. I don't know. See, I'm that type of person that if I want something, I'm going to like go for it. Mm-hmm. And she's that type of person as well. Yeah. So I don't really have any doubts.
What if she said, Aleena, I thought about it. I don't want you to go to New York. I want you to come to Cleveland with me. I looked up some research. There's schools out here that offer the type of program you want. I want you to come with me. Would you change
the thing
is,
I've looked up. I've done the research.
So you've done it.
I've done the research.
There's nothing out there in Cleveland.
Like, there is, but like not for me.
Not for you.
Like, there's like awesome orchestral programs and stuff like that, but I want to be a performer. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't just like, I don't know, disregard my dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, those are both like parts of my dream, but like at the same time, it's like I know they can both happen. So it's just a matter of you gotta believe me.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great podcast. I think I've asked you everything I wanted to ask. That's on my paper. Anything, really? Yeah. Anything that you want to talk about that we haven't hit yet? Because I'm done. I think I've asked everything I wanted to talk to you about today.
You didn't ask me if it was like, if you thought that I thought it was difficult to
talk. I'm lying. Yes, one more. Thank you. God, great memory. Mm-hmm. Look at you, sharp as a tack. By the time you're 50, that's gone. Last question. Do you think it's hard being an adult, as they call adulting in this world.
Adulting.
Yeah, that's what they call it, adulting.
I mean,
'Cause I remember when I was coming up, I was like, you don't know what it's like being an adult. Boy, wait till you get older. Wait, you think this easy? Wait till you got bills. Wait till you got mouths to feed. You just wait. You think, oh, you got it all good because you're living under my house. Wait till you get out on your own. And sure enough, it's like, damn, I was right. Like, this is not easy.
well,
Or do you think adults just complain?
what do you think?
Both. I think it's a mixture of both. I don't think it's hard being an adult. I think it's how you prepare yourself to be an adult. Because sometimes, what happens a lot is that, you live in this bubble sometimes. And as you get older, by the time you're like 18, 19, things start changing that you don't have control over. You start getting weird mails and email, like credit card offers and stuff like this. You got to get insurance. You got to... everything. You gotta get a bank account if you don't already have one. All this stuff you gotta do. You got bills if you're living on your own. And these things are changing, and it changes your mindset and how you look at the world. And then you look at younger people different. Like, if I was your age and I could tell myself advice at that time when I was your age, I would tell myself this, this, and this, and this, and this. So it's about how you prepare. The part about it being hard is that if you're doing it alone, I guess that could kind of be strenuous. Luckily for me, I have a partner to help me with adulting, and that kind of helps. But I think it's a mixture of both, of being hard and easy, or complaining. Some people just complain because they're not prepared. Prepare yourself, and you'll be all right. I think you'll be fine because you're prepared. As I'm talking to you, you mapped out a lot of stuff for your future, which I didn't. I just blindly chose psychology as a major at the last moment. I didn't want to go to college at all in the beginning. I was completely unprepared. Completely, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my last year in high school, I decided at the very last moment, right before applications were due to be sent out, that I was going to go to college. I was actually advocating against college in high school. Yeah. Yeah, my whole background story is wild.
Ayana's doing the same thing right now.
Is that right? Okay, yeah, we'll talk off camera. But yeah, that was my mindset. I was like, I'm going to school, I ain't going to college. All I'm going to do is end up in debt. I can get a regular job out of high school, I'll be fine. But I submitted an application, I ended up in Ohio. But it's just about how you prepare yourself. And luckily for you, it seems like you're on the right track of preparing yourself. So I think you'll be fine with it. Just don't let what I would say to you, don't get influenced by the outside world, because a lot of times it may not seem like it's happening, but it's happening.
Oh yeah.
Your morals start to change, your beliefs start to change, your group of friends that you had around you in high school start to change, you start to change as you get older. But it's all about how you navigate that, in adulting world per se.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I say.
Going along with that, I think, I think that being an adult, especially in this world, is probably rather difficult. Like, not even like just like socially, but like economically, it's like the
finances.
cost of living is insane.
Yeah, finances. Yeah,
and it's like you put that on like people like who have kids, and it's like, whoa.
Ooh-wee.
Like how are you supposed to like provide for yourself and for this creature? Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I feel like that's probably also very difficult, and probably a reason why a lot of people complain. But I don't really think that it's necessarily complaining as much as it is like venting. Like sometimes you need to get things off of your chest.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I'd also say it's probably a mixture of both. But I feel that the reason why there's such a generational gap is because we don't realize that struggle exists.
Exactly.
We don't pay attention. When you're younger, you're not worried. Well, most people, like I'm very worried, but you're not worried about like what's happening in the future. Like, how's your future going to be? What's like, no, the future like stresses me out, and it's like not even here yet.
Yeah.
And it's because it's like I'm I'm trying to pay attention, like what's going on around me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm that type of kid who's like looking at the stock market. I'm like looking, it's I'm
You check the stock market?
weird. Yes.
Really?
I'm like always trying to see like, where is our economy? What's going on? How hard am I going to have to work to get a house?
Yes.
How hard am I going to have to work to like get food on my table? Like if I want to have kids, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, put that on top of being gay? Like how am I gonna have kids?
Yeah.
Like that's expensive.
Yep.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
And like investing a lot of money into something that probably can't even happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
So
true.
it's like I applaud adults.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like they complain because they don't get us. But we complain because we don't get them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just
it's so funny.
over.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It's a mixture of both. But like being a person in this world is difficult enough as it is.
Yeah. In light of Black History Month, which we're in, my final question: what does it mean to be Black? Feel free to get deep. I have stupid listeners, as you would say.
Stupid listeners. Not stupid, just ignorant.
Yes.
Just a tad.
Just a tad ignorant.
I feel like to be Black, further from like a sense of ethnicity, like, because I mean, there's definitely a biological component into being Black. You can't just Rachel Dolezal all this.
Right.
Like you gotta have that in you.
Yes.
But to be Black is to be 100%, not 100% because everybody's gonna have fear, but like to be fearless.
Fearless.
To be fearless and to be strong. And with both of those, I'm going to say that there is a strength and a fearlessness in being, a sense of fearlessness in being vulnerable and in being able to show that you have weaknesses. I feel like being Black, you don't really see that a lot. You don't see a lot of Black people like admitting that they aren't strong enough to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is a result of like all of the screwed up stuff that we had to go through.
Yeah.
Like very screwed up. But at the same time, it's like I feel like it's time that we start learning how to accept that is a part of being a person. Because like how screwed up is it that white people won't get like made fun of for going to therapy, but a Black person will?
All right, we're seen as weak if we go to therapy. it's almost like a curse. Like, you go to therapy?
You go to wait.
I got that effect when I chose psychology as my major. When I went back to Philly to visit after my first semester a year, everybody looked at me differently. Oh, college boy. Oh, so you smarter than everybody now. Oh, you gonna be a doctor? You gonna come fix us all and help us all? I'm like, yo, what? Why do y'all?
Right.
Why am I getting attacked for trying to educate myself? Number one, but also I'm doing it to show y'all example that this is another route for you, to be successful.
Of course.
But yeah, it's weird how we look at self-help as a weakness.
It really is. It's like, why are we abstaining from bettering ourselves?
Yeah.
And I feel that it is because of like the effects of slavery and the effects of like what we've had to go through. It's like if a psychologist were to rightfully analyze a Black person back in that day, like that, literally we have PTSD in our DNA.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah. You believe in generational trauma?
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like it's very prevalent in like Black people as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Black American people like in North South America.
Yeah.
I can't really speak for like, I don't know, like black Like, not black, but like African black people.
The original black man.
The original. Because like, but then again, even there, you have like people telling them, oh, you were savages and we had to civilize you and colonize you. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of screwed up stuff has happened to black people within like the past few centuries. And it continues to happen. Like, you expect somebody to be okay after seeing their son get shot? Or like, do you expect somebody to be okay after seeing all of this happen and like thinking like, is that me next? Like, will that be me? Like, we are a people in fear. In constant fear. And we're a people in constant trauma. Like, if you examine a lot of the stuff that's happened to black people, it's traumatic. Very.
I seen when I was back in Philly, I was 6 or 7 years old. I seen a dude get murdered right in front of me. Gunshot, and I just seen him fall to his knees with his hands up, and he just died. 6 years old, I seen this. Like this is like regular stuff, like where I'm from. I just seen it.
That's not normal.
Riding my scooter, I was racing with another guy for the project. We was racing around our project building where I live in, grew up in. And I lost him. I was like, where did he go? And I'm looking for him. And I just heard, motherfucker, didn't I tell you I have my money? And it just boom, boom, boom. I just look. And it's like everything slowed down. And I just look and I just seen a guy with his hands up. He just fell to his knees and just fell over and died. 6 years old.
6.
You think that had an effect on me?
And you're smiling.
Crazy, ain't it?
Isn't that insane?
I would see this stuff on the regular.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And it's like,
yeah.
It's like things should.
It's wild. Yeah, generational trauma. Yeah.
It's definitely oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I could tell you so many more stories of stuff I've seen and been a part of and witnessed. Yeah, but I don't want to incriminate myself on.
I mean, not on. Nah.
I'll tell you when the cameras go off. So many more stuff I can tell you about. But yeah, man, this has been wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. I'm glad you came by. You're a working lady. You about to go to work. Look at that face.
I don't enjoy that.
You don't enjoy work? You got to make a living. Well, it's part of adulting.
It is a part of adulting, but okay. But I'm a creative, not adult yet.
Creative individual. You want to make your money creatively. Of
course. Yes. And like, I don't know. Work kind of gets in the way of that.
Your creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it. I feel the same way when I'm at work. I take my laptop with me to work and I do podcast stuff. My boss hates it, but I don't care.
I mean, you do what you have to do. Like, I'll bring something that, I'll start just like writing poems and stuff, because you cannot. When I go to work, I feel like I'm kind of jeopardizing my creativity. Like, each hour it's like I'm doing the same thing and I feel like a robot, and I can't take it. Like, I could be doing so much more, but at the same time I have to work to be doing so much more.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's like, as long as I don't get caught up in that cycle, I'm fine.
I would say, where could the people find you? Like I always ask, but you're not on social media. You're not.
No, I'm not. Miss me with that.
Well, just, I guess, if you want to connect with Aleena, just look out for her in the future, I guess.
Yeah, that's all you're going to be able to do.
Yeah. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Make sure you drop a comment, hit the like button, share this episode with all your friends and family, and come back next episode where I'm not sure who my guest will be. So that's why you should subscribe and find out. We'll see you next time. It's been another episode of Cloth Talk Podcast.